In the middle of December 2025, using fog for cover, Russian commanders launched what they believed would be a decisive winter assault near Dobropilya in Donetsk Oblast. A large column moved forward, consisting of multiple armored personnel carriers, 16 quad bikes for rapid movement, and 5 tanks providing heavy firepower. The objective was simple: to break through Ukrainian defenses and capture the area before Ukrainian forces could reorganize. However, the Azov Brigade was already positioned in the area and fully prepared. Using pre-laid mines, coordinated artillery fire, and drone strikes, the brigade destroyed the advancing vehicles and halted the assault before it could reach its target. Now let's take a look at how they destroyed the column step by step, using mines, artillery, and drones to stop this winter assault in its early stages. The operation began when a large Russian column advanced toward the occupied area. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone quickly detected the movement, tracking the convoy as it pushed forward. Within moments, multiple FPV drones were launched to intercept and disrupt the attack. As seen from the aerial footage, the first FPV drone struck directly in front of the lead vehicles, forcing the entire column to halt. The sudden explosion created confusion, and before the Russians could reorganize, more FPV drones followed, targeting armored vehicles one after another. At the same time, Ukrainian artillery began firing. With shells landing near the convoy and tightening the pressure on the stalled formation. Then the situation became even worse for the advancing force. The leading tank hit a hidden mine and exploded, completely blocking the route. The tanks behind it were forced to stop, unable to maneuver around the wreckage. Artillery fire intensified, landing closer and closer to the immobilized vehicles. Under heavy shelling, tank crews began abandoning their vehicles and fleeing on foot to avoid further strikes. As the barrage continued, the rear of the convoy also came under fire. One tank was struck precisely and exploded instantly, engulfed in flames. With drones overhead and artillery landing in multiple positions, the entire formation collapsed within minutes. Reconnaissance footage captured the destruction spreading across the column. Now, attention shifted to the soldiers who had fled their armored vehicles. Ukrainian artillery adjusted its fire and began targeting the areas where the fleeing troops were attempting to regroup. Shells landed across open ground and near tree lines where soldiers were trying to take cover. Some managed to run toward higher ground or nearby trenches, desperately searching for protection. Others were caught in the open as explosions landed around them. Despite the chaos, a number of soldiers were able to escape the immediate strike zone, leaving their vehicles burning behind them. But the battlefield was already lost. Within a short time, artillery fire and drone strikes had set multiple armored vehicles ablaze. Tanks and APCs were left destroyed across the field, smoke rising into the winter air. By the end of the engagement, the once advancing column had turned into scattered groups of soldiers fleeing on foot, hiding in nearby trenches, buildings, and any cover they could find. The assault had completely collapsed under coordinated drone and artillery fire. The remaining soldiers who had fled the destroyed convoy tried to move forward, hoping to reach safer positions. Some of them unknowingly advanced toward areas where Ukrainian drone operators were already positioned and monitoring the battlefield. From above, reconnaissance drones tracked their movement in real time. As the Russian soldiers moved closer, Ukrainian operators launched additional FPV drones. One by one, the drones targeted the scattered troops who were attempting to regroup or find cover. Within minutes, several of the fleeing soldiers were hit as the drones struck their positions. The battlefield, already filled with burning armored vehicles, now showed scattered groups being neutralized from above. What had started as a coordinated assault had completely unraveled, with drone operators systematically targeting the remaining troops as they tried to escape. But this isn't over yet. This footage was shared by the Azov Brigade on their official YouTube channel. The link is in the description below, and full credit goes to them for documenting and publishing the operation. The action unfolded in the Kreminna direction, an area that has seen repeated clashes and intense trench warfare. In this particular mission, soldiers from the Azov Brigade were tasked with clearing Russian enemy dugouts and interconnected trench positions that had been reinforced and used as forward defensive strongholds. These positions were not isolated foxholes, but part of a layered trench network, providing cover, firing angles, and limited mobility for the defending side. Before launching the assault, the unit made a deliberate tactical decision. Rather than advancing as a single formation, they divided into 3 separate assault groups. Each group was assigned responsibility for specific dugouts and trench segments. This approach reduced the risk of congestion in narrow trench lines and allowed the unit to attack from multiple angles simultaneously. By spreading out, they increased pressure on the defenders and limited the enemy's ability to concentrate fire in one direction.
Там встань впереди, видишь такие ветки. Это кишка.
Ага.
Кишка. Встаньте.
At the same time, a reconnaissance element was operating overhead. Drone operators provided continuous live surveillance, carefully monitoring Russian positions, tracking movement inside the trench network, and identifying potential escape routes or hidden firing points. The aerial feed allowed commanders to adjust movements in real time, guiding the advancing soldiers toward vulnerable sections while warning them about possible threats ahead.
Надеюсь.
Доповісти про виконання команди.
This coordination between ground units and drone operators played a key role in shaping the engagement. The first group advanced quietly, using the terrain and trench bends for cover.
Кишка. Ага. Кишка. Встаньте.
Moving cautiously, they managed to approach an enemy dugout without being immediately detected. Communication remained steady, and once they confirmed positioning, the other 2 groups began closing in on their assigned targets. Within moments, all 3 teams were in position.
Плюс. Розконтролиш виход.
Я закидаю гранатку. Бах-бах, ну и полетит.
As soon as Ukrainian forces initiated contact, the element of surprise was broken. Gunfire erupted almost instantly. The sound of automatic rifles echoed through the narrow trench corridors, and both sides began exchanging fire at close range. All three Ukrainian groups engaged their targets nearly simultaneously. Grenades were used to neutralize concealed positions inside dugouts and trench corners where defenders could remain hidden from direct fire.
Вылазь, гнида! Вылазь! Да! Вылазь!
The first explosion shook one of the trench sections, sending debris into the air. Almost at the same time, the second group advanced and deployed a grenade into another dugout. After the blast, they followed up with controlled rifle fire directed into the position to ensure it was cleared.
Давай, давай, давай! Один, один! Да, один, один, один! Тут пусто, пусто! Падаем, падаем вниз!
The firefight intensified rapidly. Russian soldiers inside the trench system returned fire heavily, creating a chaotic and confined close-quarters battle.
Да!
In such narrow spaces, visibility was limited and reaction time was critical. Despite the resistance, the Ukrainian assault groups maintained coordination. They advanced methodically, throwing grenades into suspected hiding spots, firing short, controlled bursts, and carefully checking each dugout before moving forward. One of the groups encountered a concealed firing point that required additional suppression. Multiple rounds were directed into the position before soldiers cautiously entered to confirm it had been neutralized. The advance continued step by step, trench by trench.
Есть!
Each cleared section reduced the defenders' ability to maneuver and limited their options for counterattack. What began as a carefully planned surprise assault evolved into a sustained close-quarters engagement. However, the division into three coordinated groups and the constant drone support provided a tactical advantage. Real-time intelligence allowed adjustments during the fight, helping the unit maintain pressure and gradually secure the targeted trench system. By the end of the operation, the assault teams had systematically moved through the assigned positions, clearing resistance and consolidating control of the area.
Let's go now!
At the same time, the third group of Ukrainian soldiers advanced toward another fortified section of the trench network, where Russian troops were reportedly positioned inside interconnected dugouts. Their movement was coordinated with supporting fire, which helped suppress